It's actually raining today, Cap. Las Vegas, Nevada, the sports and gaming capital of the United States of America. And you're listening to this program right here on 910 AM WUBR, CBS Sports Radio in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You can also listen live at PelicanSportsTV.com. PelicanSportsTV.com or the WUBR app, which is real easy to download on your phone. I got an iPhone and put it on there, boom, boom, boom. Every time I want to listen to Buddy Sanji or Tommy Krysan or the franchise or anybody here on WUBR 910 AM, Jody Holberg, I just hit the little button on the phone and bang, it's like magic. You gotta love it. You gotta love those apps, man. You gotta love those iPhones. I mean, they're highly addictive and all that. And I try to stay up on mine as much as possible. But man, I tell you, you can gamble on a thing. I mean, there's so much stuff you can do. All you gotta do is put a little pipe some kind of way on it, man. And MeatMan will be all in good shape. They have all in one, man. The phone, the bong, the whole thing, man. I tell you. I know I keep talking about the weed stuff, but I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated that you can walk in a store out here in Las Vegas and go buy weed. I just can't believe it. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated that that side is out here with the sports gambling and all that. I mean, other states are going to start to legalize this sports gambling. They see the money that is being left on the table. They know how much money the bookies are making, and they're not filing any taxes and all that. Why shouldn't the state get that money? Why shouldn't the state take advantage of that? I mean, boom. I mean, it would take that within 3 days, within a week, you could have the whole operation set up. You just got to put some computers in there and a board and some bet numbers and some sheets. I mean, it wouldn't take that long. It's coming, Cap. There's no doubt about it. I've always thought that if they ever legalize sports gambling in Mississippi, that I'd probably move back down south. I don't know if I'd live in Mississippi or Baton Rouge or New Orleans or where exactly I'd live, but I'd probably leave the West Coast. Yeah, I'm not really a West Coast kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a West Coast kind of guy. But there's a lot of stuff that Las Vegas offers that other places don't, like being able to bet on sports and smoking weed. So, I mean, hey, look, you got to take the good with the bad, Cap. You got to take the good with the bad. All right, so once again, we do Sportsline Radio every Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time, and we're just a couple of weeks away. Just a couple of weeks away from the start of the college football season. Right now, we're in NFL Preseason mode. That's right, we got 16 games next week. And before we get back on air next Friday, they'll have already played a game on Wednesday, and they've already played a bunch of games on that Thursday. Right now I'm looking at the schedule, and it looks like you got about 7 games on Thursday, including the matchup between the New Orleans Saints and the Cleveland Clowns. I'll get to that shortly. And we got a game on Wednesday. You got to love it. You got to love it. The NFL, I mean, they finally beginning to wise up a little bit. What's the difference if you start your preseason on a Thursday or a Wednesday? It shouldn't be any difference to the teams, but it makes a big difference to the TV, because I'm sure this one will be on a tube, and bookies' phones will be ringing left and right, looking to get down on the game. It's the Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers. So they're going to play half of the preseason football games before we get back on the radio next week. So we definitely got a lot of stuff that we need to cover today. Then on that Friday, you got 3 preseason games. On Saturday, you got 3 preseason games. On Sunday, you got 2 preseason games. No Monday Night Football this week. So 3 games Friday, 3 games Saturday, 2 on Sunday. That's 8. 7 on Thursday, 1 on Wednesday. That's 8. 8 8 is 16. That's how many games we got this week. So next week we'll have 8 games to talk about. 3 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. And today we're going to talk about the 1 on Wednesday and the 7 on Thursday. We're also going to talk about the ranking for LSU. I'm going to explain to you how I think about LSU's number 12 ranking in the coaches poll. I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I'm going to give it to you from the bookies' perspective. I'm going to give it to you in a totally different way than you're used to hearing it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their thing and this and that and that thing. I'm going to explain it to you a different way from the guys that put the money on this stuff. So we do have a lot of stuff to cover. You know, I've been saying the last couple of weeks, hey, the show's going to be this, the show's going to be that, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's all come to a screeching halt, Cap. That's all come to a screeching halt. So let's go ahead and get going today. And before we do that, though, I just want to quickly remind everybody, just to make sure we're all on the same page here, that the following information is to be used as news material only and is not intended to violate any state, federal, or local laws. All right, the New Orleans Saints, the Hoot-Hatters, the Bless You Boys, the Black and Gold, the Cha-Chings. They're going to go on the road on Thursday night, Thursday, August the 10th, 6 days from today. Wow. Wow, it's game 265, 266 in your rotation book. The New Orleans Saints at the Cleveland Browns. Right now, we're going to use the line from Chris, bookmaker. Costa Rica International Sports. I'm hoping, I'm praying, even though I'm not going to lie to everybody, I haven't prayed for it. I don't, the Lord knows I want it, so I'm not going to pray for it. How you like that theory? I go to church every Sunday, but I got other stuff that I need to pray for. We're going to use bookmaker. We're going to use Chris. There's only like 2 or 3 places out there that the MeatMan would actually put his name behind. It's hard to explain. I've been in this business going on 2 decades. I opened meatandpotatoes.com back in 1998. 1998. So, I mean, next year I'm going to be celebrating 20 years. 20 years. And in 20 years, I saw the rise and the fall of the offshore gaming business. I saw it rise from nothing. I used to talk about offshore sports books. People used to look at me like I was nuts. They go, what are you talking about, MeatMan? You want me to send my money to a third world country to bet on football? I'm like, yeah, man, I went down there to Costa Rica. I checked the places out, man. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Here's the phone number. Here's this, here's that. And, man, I tell you, at one point I had like 20 advertisers. I've done business with every offshore sports book out there, unless you were garbage and I didn't want nothing to do with you. But I've done business with just about every offshore sports book out there. And now there's only 2 or 3 of them. There's 2 or 3 that I would put my name out on. Bookmaker's one of them. There's no doubt. I've been with Bookmaker Chris for about 10 years now. For 10 years I've been promoting this company. Never heard a complaint. Never. I have never, nobody has ever called me on the phone in the last decade and said, MeatMan, I have a complaint about Chris, bookmaker. None. 0. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So that's what we're going to use here. And then believe it or not, you know, if you want some information on bookmaker Chris, just give me a call. Just contact me. I'll tell you all about them, Cap. I'll tell you which ones are good and which ones aren't. You got to remember, some people will go, well, MeatMan, bookmaker's only going to give me a 20% sign-up bonus. And XYZ bookie, they're going to give me 100% sign-up bonus. So I'm going to go with XYZ bookie. And I'll say, well, what happens when you win some money? You think they're going to pay you? And that thought never crosses their mind. The thought of actually getting a payout and winning money never crosses their mind. You always have to think, what if I win? What if I make money? If you win, am I going to get paid? Yeah, bookmaker Chris, absolutely. You can sweat the game, brother, but you ain't got to sweat the payout. I can tell you that right now. Sweating the game's tough enough. Sweating the game's tough enough. I mean, I got over 35 last night in the football game. I'm just in absolute sauna mode. I mean, I got 25 points at halftime. I need 16 stinking points because the Sharps and the Wise guys pounded the game down from an opening of 37 down to 34.5. The Sharps and the Wise guys, 0 for 1. The Sharps and the Wise guys are 0 for 1 after moving the total. What's that? 2.5 points. Lands on 38. Over. Winner. MeatMan. Yep. Over the total, brother. Over the total. I would never bet under the total on a game that opened 37 and is down to 35. And where I was last night, one of the stations casinos, it was 34.5. I mean, you really got to be a donkey to have bet under 34.5 after it opened 37. But don't worry about it. That's what we're here about. That's what we're here to do, man. That's the whole idea behind Sportsline. We're going to get together every week on Friday. It's like a secret meeting. It's like a secret meeting. We all gather on the radio and the internet. It's like a secret meeting. Every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time, right here on 910 a.m. WUBR. CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge, and we're going to talk about betting on football games. And we're going to try to get into that no-good, stinking bookie's wallet. You know that no-good, stinking bookie? You know the guy I'm talking about, the guy with the nice wife, the beautiful home, fancy cars, the kids go to the good schools. You know that SOB. You know the guy I'm talking about. Come on, man. You know him. I know him. You know him. I know you know him. And you know that I know that you know him. All right, Cap? You know him. I know him. You know I know that I know. So let's not beat around the bush. We all know what we're talking about. But let me tell you something. This guy's also got one other thing that I never talk about. He's got this big box of money in his house. And I don't want his wife and his stinking kids and his used car in his house. Nope, I want the box of money. And that's what we're going to do, man. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time, 9:10 a.m. WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge. I'm going to try to cover as many games as humanly possible because there's a lot of games, man. There's like 60, 70 games each week with the added board and the NFL and this and that and that and the other thing. And, of course, at the end of the program every week, I'm going to give you some picks. You know, I originally said I was going to give like 3 picks at the end of the program, but I'm not going to put a set number. My goal is to turn a profit for the listeners of this program. That's my goal. That's the goal. We're going into the season. The Saints' goal is to win the Super Bowl. The Tigers' goal is to win the college football championship and the SEC championship. And the MeatMan's goal is to turn a profit with the VIG. Now, so I got to hit over 52.4% using legit lines, none of this made-up line stuff. Hey, guys, I like the Saints -3. I bet them on Tuesday. I'm sorry if it's 5.5 today. We're going to document it at 3. That's how these other guys roll. That's not how the MeatMan rolls. We're going to use what's a widely available line. You know, once again, if you got one place that you bet at, and my line's a half point off, that's tough stuff. That ain't my fault. Especially if we get a sponsor for the program and we use those lines. If you're not using those lines, nothing I can do. Now, what? We get a sponsor and we use those lines. I mean, that's it. That's Katie bar the door. But, I mean, you know, once again, if you really you need more than one place. I mean, if you just got one place to play at, you're really kind of just playing with yourself. Because you're stuck like Chuck. Whatever they tell you, that's what you're going to get. I mean, you got no say in the matter. I mean, if he says the total's 40, I mean, it's 40. Doesn't matter what anybody else has. You only got one out. So you should always have a couple outs. You should always have a couple of $100 and a couple of accounts. You know, the one thing I got out here in Las Vegas, I got all the sports apps. And you have money in all the accounts because this one might offer in-game and this one might have a better line and this and that and the other thing. And you should do the same thing too. If you're not lucky enough to live in Nevada, where you can bet on sports legally. So, all right, let's see something here. The Hootatters, the New Orleans Saints, it's a picket. The Saints are a picket, and the total is 38.5. Now, teams like the Cleveland Browns want to win during the preseason. Because it might be the only time they win. It might be the only time during the course of the season that they're able to muster up a W. And by the way, I absolutely love the Cleveland Browns. Week 1 of the 2017 NFL regular season against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're getting 9 points. They're getting 9. I love the Browns. They played Pittsburgh pretty good last year at the end of the season. And when the Browns had nothing to play for, Cleveland was absolute garbage. And they gave the Steelers everything they could take. Everything. I mean, they threw the kitchen sink at the Steelers. And the Steelers barely got by. They squeaked by, Cap. And I think Cleveland, I think Cleveland, the first week of the season against the Steelers, that's a lock. I mean, I'm hoping it goes to 10. If I see it 10, I would actually pay ATM fees to get money out of the bank to get Cleveland plus 10 at home the first game of the year, the Browns home open. I would actually put my bank card in the ATM machine, which I try not to do out here in Las Vegas because it's like $8, $9. It's ridiculous. Like buying a pack of cigarettes in a casino. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I have bought packs of cigarettes for some lady friends. Well, you know you're giving it up to the MeatMan when you get a pack of cigarettes, Cap. Man, when you get that $10 pack of cigarettes, I mean, look, I don't even have to tell you what's up, Cap. You know when you open the pack and light the first one up, what time it is. So, I like Cleveland that first game against the Steelers, but this is a totally different deal here. They're playing the Saints, do that. You know, when Sean Payton came back from suspension, that first game, that first preseason game, I knew he wanted to win that game, and he was going to call the plays and stuff like that, but I don't really think the Saints are worried about winning right now. The Saints know, Sean Payton knows that winning in the preseason means absolutely nothing. It's like me losing a game without any money on it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These games don't count. They don't count. And I think the Saints maybe want to kind of see what they got, since they got a lot of new pieces. But I think it's too early to start putting the puzzle together where the Cleveland Browns, like I said, they want to win. They need to win. The Superdome, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, is going to be sold out week 1 when the Saints play the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Week 2, their home opener, week 2. Week 1, I know they play the Minnesota Vikings. I love the New Orleans Saints more than life itself on that Monday night game. I literally love the New Orleans Saints more than life itself, man. Adrian Peterson, me and him are either going to have a great relationship this year or we're not. One of the two. I don't know which one it's going to be. Hopefully we're going to have a great relationship. I mean, I'm expecting him to come up big against his old team. I'll take Drew Brees over this guy that plays quarterback for Minnesota that got hurt last year. I forgot what his name is. Teddy Bridgewater, I think it is. I'm not worried about it. Sam Bradford, I think the quarterback was last year. I don't even care who's quarterbacking for the Minnesota Vikings. I could care less week one. I could literally care less. The only two people I care about playing is Drew Brees and Adrian Peterson. That's the only two people that I give a rat's hoot about. Is Drew Brees and Adrian Peterson. As long as those two guys are playing, I don't care about any other injury, any guy that might be sore or overweight or out of game shape. I don't care. I don't care. Adrian Peterson, I'm not a big Adrian Peterson fan. I think what he did is pretty piss poor. All right, let's just call it like it is, okay? What the guy did, it's pretty sad, okay? It's pretty sad to think that you would actually do something like that. It's pretty sad. It shows that you're a sad human being and you got serious mental problems. But this is gambling, man, okay? Look, sometimes you got to put your money on a guy like Adrian Peterson. Yeah, he's a piece of garbage. Right, yeah, he's no good. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do in this business, man. It's a dirty business, gambling. This is a dirty business. The bookie, he's trying to take your money. You trying to take his money. Believe me, man, this is dirty stuff. So you have to pull for a guy like Adrian Peterson. But now he better show up now. He come out there, get 22 yards on 12 carries, fumbles a ball, gets shut down on a 3rd and inches. You got to show up and play. I mean, believe me, if you're just out there to get a check, I mean, you might as well just check out. So we're going to see. But I'm betting that Adrian Peterson is going to have a big game. And if he has a big game, Drew Brees is going to light up the Minnesota secondary like I'm going to light up this big fatty right after the program, Cap. I mean, you believe me, he's going to light up the Minnesota Vikings. So, this is a tricky game for the MeatMan, this game, this first preseason game, because I'm betting both the Saints and the Browns opening week. So that's what's kind of tricky. I'm in like this first week love affair with both of these teams. And I don't know which one I'm going to go with. Actually, I do know which one I'm going to go with, but I'm going to tell you after the commercial break. How you like that tease, Cap? How you like that? I'm going to give you a tease. It's called a radio tease right here. I'm going to give you my play in the New Orleans Saints, Cleveland Browns preseason week number 1 football game as soon as we come back from the break. I'm also going to talk a little LSU football. I want to explain to you how LSU is ranked 12th in the coaches poll, but at the Chris Bookmaker, Costa Rica International Sports, the odds on the LSU Tigers to win the college football championship are the 8th lowest out of all the teams. So the odds makers have LSU ranked 8th, and the coaches have LSU ranked 12th. I'm going to show you why I agree with the odds makers. So we got a lot of stuff to cover in the final 30 minutes of the program, Cap. So don't touch that dial. You're listening to Sports Line Radio with Dave, the MeatMan Scandaliato. I'm coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, the sports gaming capital of the United States of America. And you're listening to this program right here on 9:10 a.m. WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge. Yeah, this might be the only break. You never know. All right. I'm trying to get my buddy that owns one of these places to sponsor the show. We're like Billy Martin and George Steinbrenner. We like each other, but when we do business, we always clash with each other. So I'm trying to get him to do something. And, the way I figured if I get him to do it, I probably won't take any breaks. Because I'll just talk about him. I mean, unless I have to. I mean, unless what's the owner's name again? I can't believe I can't remember his name. Alan. If Alan says, I want you to play this, well, obviously I'm going to do whatever he tells me to do. Right. So, well, all right. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. It's about 50-50 whether he'll do it or not. He probably won't, because the second time we got in a big fight, but it was never me and him. It was just me and the assistant. You know what I'm saying? I would never fight with this guy. This guy's done way too much shit for me in my life to fight with him. You know what I'm saying? I got other people I'd rather fight with than this guy. But his assistant, fuck the assistant. Fight with them all day. All right. And welcome back to Sports Line Radio. My name is Dave, the MeatMan Scandaliato, and I'm broadcasting live from beautiful, sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, the sports and gaming capital of the United States of America. And once a week, we get together right here on the good old-fashioned AM radio dial, 910 AM WBR CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge. We talk about gaming, gambling, sports gambling, betting on football. That's right. That's right. Not a lot of shows out there dedicated to betting on football, Cap, but this is one of them right here. And I want to always thank my man Alan, the owner of Pelican Sports TV and Radio, for giving me the opportunity to do this program. We started right at the end of football season last year. Right at the end of football season, we kind of started up, and my whole idea was, even though this was the worst time to start up at the end of football season, I figured if I could make it through those 6, 7, 8 months, started at the end of football season, by the time we got to football season, we'd have something. And that's what we got. We got something. We got a time slot, 5 to 6 Central Time every Friday. You can listen live on PelicanSportsTV.com or the Pelican Sports app that you put right there on the iPhone or the Android. And, of course, we record the program, and we put it up on YouTube every week. And, of course, it doesn't get a lot of hits right now. The horse racing show's got a ton of hits. But once football season gets here, we're picking games against the spread and doing this and doing that, those videos are going to get a lot of hits. So I'm very thankful to be here and looking forward to bringing you this show every week. So tell your friends, tell your family, if you like betting on football, you need to know the point spreads, you need to know the odds, you need to know what's going on. Every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time, 9:10 a.m. WBR CBS Sports Radio. Sports Line with Dave, the MeatMan Scandaliato, who next year will be celebrating 20 years in business, Cap. That's almost unbelievable that I've been the owner of meatandpotatoes.com going on 20 years. 20 years. We're under 365 days before I've officially been in business for 20 years. I haven't had a job in 20 years, Cap. I got no alarm clock. I got no nothing. I got no nothing, Cap. The Cleveland Browns, speaking of having nothing, they ain't got nothing. And the Hootatters, the Bless You Boys, the Black and Gold, the Chings, the New Orleans Saints, who the last 3 years have gone 7-9, 7-9, and 7-9. But it was last year's 7-9 that really caught my attention, because it really wasn't 7-9. It was 0-3, and then it was 7-5, and then it was 0-1. After a horrible start and a bad ending, right in the middle of the whole thing, the Saints went 7-5. And that includes a loss to the Denver Broncos, which was an absolute fluke, which could have put them at 8-4. And because of that, that's the Saints team I'm expecting to see this year. The Saints should have won the first game of the season against the Oakland Raiders. I was at the game. I saw it live. I saw the whole thing live. The 99-yard touchdown pass. I saw the whole thing, Cap, every play. Every play. I was sitting so high up in the dome. I mean, I wasn't going to take a piss, going to get no popcorn. I wasn't going to do nothing but keep my butt in the chair. For 3.5 hours, I sat there. I watched everything that went on in the game. Saints could have won that game. They should have won it. I had the Raiders +2. I had Oakland +2. I win the game outright. My guys and me, we got the money. But the Saints should have won the game. And they could have won the game. Then the second week, the New York Giants. It's a boring game. Saints get a couple of yards. We line up a little field goal. We're going to take a 3-0 lead in the second quarter. Oh, no! Giants blocked the kick, running in for a touchdown. 10-point swing. Instead of us being up 3-0, we're down 7-0. To change the whole ball game around. Who's the difference in the game? And then, of course, week 3, the Atlanta Falcons, the 10-year anniversary of the reopening of the Superdome after Katrina and all that. The Saints jump out to the 7-0 lead. The defense comes out. They hold the Falcons. They punt. And the two Saints guys run into each other trying to catch the punt. Looked like I was watching a Special Olympics or something. Atlanta recovers the ball. They score, and they score 5 straight touchdowns. And the next thing you know, it's 35-7 Dirty Birds. So, you know, and I believe that they fell apart like a cheap suit in that game. Because they fell apart like a cheap suit in the Giants game and the Raiders game. So they figured, well, we'll just fall apart like a cheap suit now, because when you got two guys running into each other trying to catch a punt, I mean, when's the last time you seen that? I mean, I've seen all sorts of stuff in my life, but man, but very rarely do you see that one. So, man, I just think that the Saints had a lot of bad luck last year. You know, a lot of people don't realize a lot of these games are determined by 1 or 2 plays. Could be a call by the referee. Could just be a drop ball. I mean, you know, there's so much stuff that goes on, but in my opinion, it just comes down to 1 or 2 plays. And the Saints were 1 or 2 plays away from being 10-6. I mean, it was 7-9. Should have beat Oakland. Could have beat the Giants. The Denver Broncos. I mean, look, you give the Saints those 3 wins, you take away 3 losses, they finish 10-6. They're a playoff team. And who wants to face Drew Brees and the Saints in the playoffs? I can tell you right now, nobody. Nobody wants to face a guy who's the favorite to throw more passing yards than any other quarterback in the NFL 2017 and throw more touchdowns than any quarterback in 2017. Ain't nobody wants to play the Saints in a 1-game elimination playoff football matchup. Nobody. So, all right, the Saints and the Browns, I'm taking the Browns, man. I'm taking the Cleveland Clowns in a picket against the New Orleans Saints on Thursday night. It's game 265, 266. Put me down for the Cleveland Clowns in a picket against the Saints. Obviously, if this was a regular season game, I'd be all over the Saints in a picket against the Cleveland Browns. Let's say this was week 1 of the regular season. I'd probably put everything I own on the Saints. But it's not. It's week 1 of the preseason. And I think Cleveland is the bottom line. They want to win this game, man. They got to win the games in the preseason to trick the fans into thinking that they got something. So they'll sell some tickets early and at least make a few dollars before everybody in Cleveland realizes that the Browns suck. Whereas the New Orleans Saints, like I said, the first game of the season for the Hoodatters, the Bless You Boys, the Flag Goal at the Change, they can lose all 4 preseason games 100-0. The Superdome's going to be sold out the second week of the season. The first home game for the Saints has the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots come to town. I mean, just the fact that they beat the Atlanta Falcons, the Saints ought to give them a standing ovation. When the Patriots come into the stadium, they ought to give them a standing ovation, or at least not boo. Because what they did by beating the Falcons, I mean, believe me, Atlanta's going to have a hard time overcoming that, man. Every time the Atlanta Falcons have the lead now in a football game and the other team scores, they're going to start thinking about that Super Bowl, man. I'm telling you. Atlanta and Dallas, those are the two bet against teams this year. You might not make a lot of money betting against them, but I'd be willing to bet you in the 32 games combined that the Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons are going to play, I'd be willing to bet you they do no better than 15 wins and 17 losses against the spread. And if they go 15 and 17, you bet against them. You're 17 and 15. Even with the juice, you bet the 100 a game, you make $50. Now, I know you're saying, what are you going to do with $50? I know what you're going to do with nothing. I got that already. But let's say they go 12 and 20 against the spread. Now you make $680. See what I'm saying? And you don't have to do no handicapping. You don't have to do no thinking. Every week you just bet against the Atlanta Falcons. And every week you just bet against the Dallas Cowboys. And at the end of the season, you add it up. Might win, might lose. Once again, I personally think that the Cowboys and the Falcons are going to be way overvalued every game that they play this season, at least the first half of the year. And, we'll keep track of that. All right, we're going to take one more break. We're going to take one more quick commercial break. And when we come back, I am going to talk to you about the LSU Tigers. They're picked 12th by the coaches in the polls before the start of the season. But the odds makers at Chris Bookmaker, they got the Tigers at 8th, the 8th lowest odds team out there. And I'm going to explain to you why that means LSU could be a dangerous football team this year, despite what coaches say and what some of the personalities on this station say about the Tigers. I'm gonna give you a totally different opinion on LSU in the 2017 football season. So don't touch that dial, Cap. You're listening to Sportsline with Dave the MeatMan Scandaliato. I'm coming to you live from Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, the sports gaming capital of the United States of America. And you're listening to this program right here on 910 AM WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge. All right. I appreciate that very much. We got to take one more quick break. Just get it out of the way. Take a break. I don't know if I can talk about LSU for 20 minutes. I don't know if it's in my DNA or not to be able to talk about the Tigers that long. I don't know, man. The way believe me, for LSU to be in the top 8, when they're in the same part of the thing with Alabama and Auburn, man, that's respect. That's respect. Now, granted, LSU's 20-something to 1 and Alabama's 2 to 1. So there's a big gap between LSU and Alabama, and that's mainly because the game's played in Alabama. If the game was played in LSU, Alabama would probably be 3 to 1 or 3.5 to 1, because that's all factored into the future prices. So they got to win that first game of the season against BYU, man. And believe me, the problem is we got nothing on Ed Ogeron. There's nothing. We know he's a good interim coach, but is he a good head coach? We already knew he was good at. Right? All right. All right. And welcome back to Sportsline. My name is Dave, the MeatMan Scandaliato. I'm the owner of meatandpotatoes.com. I'm also the owner of payafteryouwin.com. But I'm thinking about erecting meatandpotatoes.com from the dead. I'm thinking about doing it. I'm thinking about starting to put the articles back up there. I'm thinking about making a transition back to meatandpotatoes.com. When you got two websites like I got, you can do it. I got the two best names in the sports handicapping business. At least one of them, the Pay After You Win site. That's a great name. That's a great name, payafteryouwin.com. But I'm always going to be the meat man, Cap. I'm always going to be the guy that opened meatandpotatoes.com. And I don't know, we'll see. I'm not a big writer. Anybody out there knows a young kid? And what I mean by young kid, college age. 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. They're looking for a little side gig. They know how to write, type articles. They know anything about sports and sports handicapping, anything. Tell me, give me a call. 702-609-0930. 702-609-0930. Don't call the 1-833 Meat Man line. That's for the free pitch. At 1-833-MEATMAN. Yeah, don't call that. Call 702-609-0930. It's not a lot of money, but it's not a lot of hard work. I'd pay you it's hard to explain. I mean, you figure even a guy like me could type 2 articles in an hour. So if I paid you $10 an hour, let's say you needed a little going out money on a Friday night or a Thursday night or a Wednesday night, or you like the Meat Man, you go out every night. Send me 2, 3, 4 articles, send me a PayPal invoice, boom, I'll pay you, get your money right then and there. Got a couple of friends, you might be able to write a couple articles, another guy might be able to write a couple articles, another guy might be able to write a couple of articles, and boom, you just pick up some money in your spare time. Like driving for Uber. You got 2 hours, you're sitting around the house, you got nothing to do, you write 4 articles for the Meat Man. I send you the $20 PayPal, boom. Just like that, pay you right there on the spot. None of this sitting around waiting for the paycheck and all that. And look, let me tell you something, man. If your articles generate traffic, your articles help me make money. The Meat Man's very generous, Cap. Very generous. If there's one thing that the Meat Man is, I'm very generous. I'm a very generous man, so keep that in mind, Cap. If you know anybody out there, you got to be at least 18. You got to be at least 18, and you got to know how to type, you got to know how to write, you got to know a little bit about the point spread and all that. Tell them to give me a call, 702-609-0930. If they're no good at it, I'll be the first guy to say, look, man, I appreciate you calling. You wrote 5 articles, here's your $25. But we got to move on, Cap. You're not my guy. But, you never know. You never know, man. And you got to start somewhere in life. Hell, my first job was at Chick-fil-A. You got to start somewhere in life, Cap. All right, Wednesday night. Wednesday, August the 9th. We got the Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers. Carolina's a 3-point favorite. The total is 36.5. Then on Thursday, you got 7 games. The Atlanta Falcons at the Miami Dolphins. The game's a picket. The total 36.5. You got the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are 1-point favorite. The total is 37. The Washington Redskins and the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are 1-point favorite. The total 37.5. The New England Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars. New England's a 5-point favorite. The total 40.5. Denver Broncos, Chicago Bears. The game is a picket. The total 36. the Green Bay Fudge Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Packers are 2-point favorite. The total 39.5. And like we talked about earlier, the New Orleans Saints, the Hootaters, the black and gold, the bless you boys, the cha-chings, going on the road to the Cleveland Clowns. The game's a picket, and the total is 38.5. The only game I know I'm going with right now is the Cleveland Clowns, because they want to win the game more than the Saints. It's as simple as that. New Orleans, this game means 0 to the Saints. The Cleveland Browns, they want to win preseason games so they have that false sense of security heading into the regular season. The New Orleans Saints, they don't need that, man. They don't need that. They don't need that. Their mission is preseason, come out healthy, and get ready for the Minnesota Vikings opening week with Adrian Peterson making his return to wherever they play. I was going to say the Metrodome, but I don't know where the Vikings play. I know they had a new stadium and the roof collapsed and they were playing at other places. You never know where the Vikings are going to play at, Cap. You never know where the Vikings are going to play. So the only game I know I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. Any of the other games, give me a call. 1-833-MeatMan. 1-833-MEATMAN. 1-833-632-8626. That's an easy number to remember. Anytime you need a pick, anytime you need a free winner, anytime you need some advice on betting football, give me a call. 1-833-632-8626. 1-833-MeatMan. 1-833-MEATMAN. That is your exclusive number to call Dave the MeatMan Scandaliato. You're going to talk directly with me when you dial that number. 1-833-MeatMan. 1-833-632-8626. 1-833-MEATMAN. All right, the LSU Tigers are ranked 12th in the coaches poll that just came out. They're the number 12 ranked team in the coaches poll. Now, we've had some radio personalities here on the program, a.k.a. TK, who thought maybe LSU would be 50 or 60 or 70. He thought that they would be in the lower half of the top 20, meaning from 11 to 20, than the upper half, where LSU is right now at 12. But if you look at the odds makers at Costa Rica International Sports Bookmaker, you can clearly see that the LSU Tigers are the 8th lowest odds team to win the football national championship. The Alabama Crimson Tide are the favorite at 2.5 to 1. The Ohio State Buckeyes are 7 to 1. The USC Trojans and the Florida State Seminoles are 8 to 1. The Oklahoma Sooners and the Auburn Tigers are 16 to 1. The Penn State Nittany Lions are 19 to 1. And the LSU Tigers, are 24 to 1. Now, obviously, Alabama's the big favorite. I mean, they're a 10-time bigger favorite than LSU. Alabama's 2.5 to 1. LSU's 24 to 1. So, obviously, Alabama's a big favorite. But for LSU to be in the top 8, knowing that 3 of the 8 teams play on the same side in the SEC is pretty unbelievable if you stop and think about it. I mean, LSU, the odds on the Tigers, if they played in the other half of the SEC, they'd probably be 12 to 1. Because their odds just to win the SEC championship game or 7.5 to 1. Now, if they get to the SEC championship game, they're probably going to be the favorite. They're probably going to win it because you beat Alabama. You probably beat Auburn. You probably went undefeated in order to get to the SEC championship game. So you're probably going to be a big favorite there, and you're probably going to win it. But the whole idea behind LSU being the 12th best team in the country, yet the odds makers have them the 8th best team in the country, and their odds, once again, it's because they're stacked up in the same side of the bracket in the SEC with Alabama, the Crimson Tide, and the Auburn Tigers. This LSU team is a dangerous team to the odds makers. I mean, once again, if they're on the other side of the bracket, LSU's 12 to 1. LSU's 12 to 1. LSU would be 3 to 1 to win the SEC championship instead of 7.5 to 1 if they were just on the other side. LSU's in the toughest bracket in all of football. LSU's probably got the toughest schedule in all of college football, especially the last 7 games of the year. I'm pretty sure it's the last 7 games. I mean, you talk about a tough schedule. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's tougher than a piece of grizzle on a $2 steak, man. I mean, it's tough. And then there's what the LSU football schedule is going to be like. I mean, that's really tough the second half of the year. So I think LSU, they're probably the 5th or 6th best team in the country. I don't see where the Auburn Tigers are going to be any better than the LSU Tigers. I don't see that. I must be missing something. And obviously, Alabama deserves to be the favorite. But, I mean, look, it was 0-0 in the fourth quarter last year. LSU had Alabama shut out. The Crimson Tide didn't have no points. They didn't have anything in the fourth quarter against LSU. And then one play, boom, it was over. One play. One stinking broken play, and that was it. Alabama didn't dominate LSU that game. If anything, LSU dominated Alabama. It was one play, one stinking play, one broken play pretty much ended LSU's chances of beating the Alabama Crimson Tide last year. So I think it's a very positive thing for the Tigers. I think anybody out there, if you're an LSU fan, I think this is something to kind of be happy about. Obviously, once again, Alabama's 2.5 to 1. LSU's 24 to 1. So obviously you have a big gap between the favorite and LSU. But there's only 6 other teams in the middle. And, I mean, one of the teams is Penn State. I mean, come on, LSU would demolish Penn State. They demolished the Nittany Lions. I mean, come on, it wouldn't even be close. It wouldn't even be close. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think LSU's got a lot more to look forward to. They got to win that first game of the season. They absolutely, positively, unequivocally, I mean, they got to win. They cannot start out with a loss. I know it's not a conference game, and if you're going to lose the first game of the season, you want to lose the first one. I don't want to hear, man, you lose the first game of the season, you're going to lose a lot of support, and Ed Ogeron's going to be on the hot seat from day one. And, man, that is not good for LSU. But LSU could easily be 5-0 after 5 games. They got a bye week before they play Alabama. So it's a long ways away, but we're going to see. But don't worry about that number 12 ranking in the coaches poll for LSU. They're ranked a lot higher than 12. They're ranked a lot higher than 12. They got all that rankings based on the fact that they might lose to this team and to this team, and this team will only have 1 loss, and LSU can have 2, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about all that. Don't worry about all that. The guys at Chris, the guys at Bookmaker, that's who you want to listen to, man. Those are the guys who know what they're talking about. Those are the guys who take 5, 10, 20,000 on a game. You know, you gotta remember that there's guys who talk a good game, and then there's guys that'll put their money where their mouth is. And you always got to keep that in mind. You always got to keep that in mind. When you're looking at a poll, you're looking at this, you're looking at that, check the odds. Check the numbers, man, because the numbers don't lie. These bookies are sharp, especially these guys at Chris, man. These guys are, they're sharp. They know how to make money for the bosses. And they obviously like the LSU Tigers. All right, I just got the thing. We're under the 2-minute warning. Less than 2 minutes before we put an end to another edition of Sportsline Radio. Don't forget, 8 preseason games between now and the next program. And then next Friday, we'll cover the 3 preseason games on Friday, the 3 on Saturday, the 2 on Sunday. If you need any NFL preseason information, give me a call. 1-833-MeatMan. 1-833-MEATMAN. 1-833-632-8626. You're going to talk directly with me, Dave, the MeatMan Scandaliato. Don't call me after you're buried. Don't call me after all hope is lost. Call me in the beginning of the season. Let's work together. And let's get that no-good stinking bookie's wallet, man. He's got plenty of money. He's got plenty of money. All right, as always, I want to thank my man Don back in the studio. He makes my job really easy, acting like a fool on the radio for 60 minutes, knowing that he's got everything covered back in the studio. As always, I want to thank my man TK Tommy Krysan for getting me on Pelican Sports Radio. And, of course, the owner, Alan, I always want to thank him for giving me the chance to bring you this program each and every week. Don't forget, bet with your head and not over it. Money management is the key to making money betting sports. As always, my name is Dave, the MeatMan Scandaliato. I'll see you in 167 hours right here on Sportsline. All right, I appreciate everything. What's the plans for the weekend? Same old, same old? All right, mother-in-law. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All right, well, I mean, hey, it's all right. No line, sir. We're not going to offer any odds on it. It'll be fun. No. You got it. I will definitely talk to you next week. All right. That is going to wrap it up for this edition of Sportsline Radio. Don't forget, you need to get in contact with the MeatMan. It's real easy. 1-833-MeatMan. 1-833-MEATMAN. It's a toll-free call. 1-833-MEATMAN. 1-833-632-8626. And don't forget, you can always contact me, Dave, at meatandpotatoes.com or Dave at payafteryouwin.com. Don't forget, you can listen live to this program every week on PelicanSportsTV.com. PelicanSportsTV.com. We're on from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time every Friday on 9:10 a.m. WUBR CBS Sports Radio Baton Rouge. Of course, you can always listen live on the WUBR app. Don't forget, bet with your head, not over it. And thank you for everybody who listened to the program live or watched the rebroadcast on YouTube. As always, my name is Dave, the MeatMan Scandaliato, and I'll see you in 167 hours right here on Sportsline.